to it. It should not. I see your junior next to you is shaking her head. Maybe she's going to give you some brilliant point on why I'm talking nonsense. So we do not have to go there. We are not asking for the contents of the Section 204 statement. All that we want is, because Mr. Matlala is asserting the privilege, Mr. Matlala should say, this is the crime, and this is how your question impeaches on my privilege. That has nothing to do, and it should not have anything to do with reference to the Section 204 statement. It does not have to. And I repeat what I said right at the beginning, which is that without this umbrella cover all that Mr. Matlala uses, we should not have been in this position whatsoever. So much that I will perhaps, I'll let you respond, depending on your response. After the advice from your junior, I will then ask Ms. Silo to repeat her question. And I hope Mr. Matlala has heard me when I say we do not have to just broadly and in general terms refer to a Section 204 statement and then say every and anything that
Earlier, Vusi Musiket Matlala's legal team had threatened to withdraw from the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry after the alleged cartel boss instructed his lawyers to quit if he was required to continue proceedings without his lead advocate, Ms. van der Heever. Advocate Fatima Misi told the commission on Monday that Matlala had instructed his entire legal team to withdraw should van der Heever be excluded from proceedings. She said, "We are ordered to withdraw as Matlala's representatives. Standoff centers on Matlala's ability to adequately consult with his lawyers while being held at the Kgoshi-Mampuru CMAX prison, as well as concerns over the late delivery of affidavits and heads of argument." His legal team also raised concerns about the potential legal consequences of evidence he may give before the commission, particularly in light of criminal proceedings he is facing. Mrs. Matlala was uncomfortable proceeding without van der Heever and warned that the defense could approach the High Court for an interdict if he was forced to continue without his lead counsel. However, Commission Chairperson Justice Mbuyiseni Matlanga rejected a lengthy postponement and directed that arguments relating to Matlala's application against self-incrimination proceed after a shorter adjournment to allow him to consult with his lawyers. Matlanga further indicated that the Commission would continue hearing evidence relating to Matlala despite the threatened withdrawal, saying the legal issues could largely be addressed by counsel without requiring extensive further consultation. When Matlala was asked whether he understood the implications of legal dispute, he appeared confused and told the commission that he did not understand what was happening. The confrontation comes as Matlala faces intense scrutiny of allegations surrounding the Medicare 24 South African Police Service tender, alleged payments or gratifications involving police officers and other matters being examined by the commission. His pending Medicare 24 criminal case, scheduled for September, has added another layer of complexity to his appearance before the inquiry, with his legal team concerned that the testimony given at the commission could potentially have implications for his criminal prosecution. Matlala first appeared before the commission on 17 August, where he read a prepared statement before repeatedly invoking his right against self-incrimination when questioned about the SAPS tender and his alleged dealings with police officials. Vusi Musiket Matlala also refused to answer questions about his relationship with senior SAPS officials, citing his right against self-incrimination in pending investigations. Evidence leader Mahlape Silo asked Matlala to explain his relationship with his several senior police officials. He remained mum about his relationship with Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya and allegations that he gave impalas to the police boss as a gift, and said, "I'm a suspect in a matter under investigation which relates to my interaction with Sibiya, as was made clear to me during my questioning by IDEC." He said he had become aware that IDEC was investigating allegations that he had given Sibiya Impalas in exchange for assistance with the Medicare 24 contract. Madla told the commission that he had met Sibiya 3 or 4 times in connection with his complaint about a protracted lease agreement with the Department of Public Works. He said Sibiya had questioned him about the kidnapping of businessman Jerry Boshoka, which he said he did not know anything about it. When asked to explain his relationship with the suspended Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department DPC head, Julius Mkhwanazi, Madlala said he could not respond because he was a suspect in an IDEC investigation into the illegal fitting of blue lights. He said he had not done any business with the EMPD and had provided only free security services to former Ekurhuleni Mayor Tanya Campbell. That I've responded to this question in my previous affidavit. I've been advised to also place on record that I'm a suspect in cases involving the EMPD, and I therefore do not wish to answer any questions regarding my interaction with the EMPD. When asked about his relationship with suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, Madlala said he had previously responded that he had neither met nor spoken to Mchunu. Madlala said he could not answer questions about his relationship with former Police Minister Bheki Cele because he was a suspect in a matter that was under an IDEC investigation. He provided further information about his relationship with the KZN Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. During his initial appearance, Madlala said he had met Mkhwanazi and they had discussed pending cases against him and exchanged information, and said, I have also noted that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has stated under the oath that he recorded the conversation we had on the day I met him. I now invite him to disclose this recording to the commission so everyone can hear firsthand what happened on the day. He said he did not understand why such crucial information of evidence had not been subpoenaed or voluntarily handed over to the commission.
And so those are the reasons why we're not able to prepare ourselves on time or rather, finally, we hadn't anticipated that Ms. Annalene would fall so ill to a point where she's unable to even be here in person. Because perhaps her being here in person as the lead counsel, we would have had a better argument, so as to say, and it maybe have created a way for us to proceed to argue on a legal basis. But one thing I can say is that our instructions from clients is that if his lead counsel is not here, he's not comfortable and he doesn't feel properly represented.
But the main reason
on the evidence leaders.
What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.